commingle recycling, and mentioned that it hasn't improved. So since 2017, we've seen it fall for reasons we know, and then now in 2019, it's not dropping as far as or as fast or steep as it did in 2018, but it's still declining. So we're in a worse position right now than we were in 2018, but not falling at the same rate, and no signs of recovery at this moment. That's my forecast for the total cost of curbside recycling in 2019. About 40,000 more than it was last year. Again, just a forecast. Any questions about that information? Okay, so final slide. Oh, commercial recycling. It has been increasing quarter over quarter when compared to the 2017, 2018 numbers on a consistent basis. So I can't really explain what's driving that other than commercial growth, and they seem to be adding recycle containers with their service. And usually what I've seen in Meridian City with commercial recycling is it would be an increase one quarter, and the next 2 or 3 quarters it would be a decrease when you compared them year over year. But now I'm starting to see it be an increase every quarter, year over year. So hopefully that's a trend that continues. But I thought it was worth pointing out. That concludes my presentation of what I thought were highlights for the second quarter of this fiscal year 2019. Mr. Chair, Commissioners, thank you. Any questions?
Members of the Commission, any comments or questions on the material that's been presented? For those that have thumbed through the report, if they've got any questions about the material in the report.
Maybe just more of a confirmation. So when we talk about net cost, or the net cost of recycling, that's what we get for selling the materials less the cost of processing, or, right? It doesn't count what the customer is paying to have a cart or anything like that. It's just once the material comes in. Is that correct?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Larson, that's correct. So the cost per ton is what we're paying the local recycling facility to process our materials.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments or questions?
Mr. Chair? Commissioner, I want to thank Conrad. He's been working with staff on providing reporting data. So one of the things that we as staff have looked at is, from staff's perspective, collecting data. And Republic's been very helpful in giving us data to us, which is very similar to what you see in your report, just in a different format. It's in hard data, Excel files. So what we're doing as staff is collecting that data so that we can start to see trends over time, maybe in a little more succinct, a little different light than what you see in a written report. We'd be happy to share that and talk with you about that at the next meeting if that's something that interests you. From staff's perspective, it was just a different way to see the data, and we'd be happy to share that with you going forward if that's something that's interest to you, or maybe a different way you want to see it. But essentially, it's just an update to say that we've been getting similar data, the same data in a different format for now, 2 months, I think? 2 months, this being the second month. So we're starting to put together how it looks and how we can project it and look at it differently. So if that's of interest to the Commission, we'd be happy to share that and show that to you at the next meeting.
And if I might state that a little bit different, what staff is proposing is that they've been working and looking at a way to digest the data into trends and, try to come up with some points that are associated with that. And I think what they'd like to do is next month talk about that, the data and what it says about Meridian. And so, does the commission sound like sounds like that's something that they'd like to have in the next meeting to see the digested data?
I would love to see data,
Yes,
Mr.
please.
Chair.
Okay, thank you for the offer, David. We will take you up on that, and we definitely want to have that on the next agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Conrad. And that takes care of all the items on our agenda. So we will, the next item is to discuss the upcoming meeting, which is May 22nd. And of course, we'll have the report from staff on the data. And also, we'll have held the event, so we'll have a report on Recycle a Bicycle and also on Trash or Treasure to look forward to. And also, we've realized that when we went ahead and passed the fee increase last year, or made the recommendation to council on the fee increase last year, the fee portion that was associated with reimbursing Republic for the collection of recycled materials was a one-year run, and there needs to be a report back to us on this 1 year, on those costs and the money that was collected. So Republic, we certainly would love to have a report on that next month so that we're prepared to consider whatever has to happen during this fee increase.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, we would love to bring forward just what's happened in the last year. So we presented last year, but this is a great time to revisit it, show you where your money went, how it influenced the recycling program, and where we want to go move from there. So that's great. We'll bring a report, just really focus on that recycling fee from last year, this year, unless there's something else more than that you want to see. Anything else?
And with that, I don't know if anything has crossed the mind with the commissioners that they would like to have on the agenda, or as always, if it does come to mind over the next couple of weeks, please feel free to contact David or I. David and I, or I'm sorry, Tom or I. Tom and I get together 2 weeks before the meeting, just kind of off cycle, to go ahead and draft the agenda. And so, yeah, if you think of anything over the next couple of weeks, get it to either Tom or I, and we'll get it on the agenda. And with that, we've completed our business, and I will go ahead and call the meeting concluded. It is 4:45. Thank you for all that you do for us, and I will talk with you sometime before the month is done.
Thank you.